Hello, welcome to another episode of the GodisaGeek podcast. My name is Chris White, and joining me this week is Mr. Adam Cook.
Hello, you're very up this week, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I've been up since 6 with a poorly kid, but I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I've just realised I've made it sound like you're not normally up, which is not the case at all, is it?
No. I'm normally in bed by this time. I'm normally on a late night the night before. So.
I mean positive. I mean I meant you're up as in positively up.
Oh, positively up. Yeah, I'm never normally positively up.
Oh.
I try to be. But anyway, how are you, Nick, as well?
I'm all right. I'm up. I've been up for a while.
Good.
And I'm positively up too.
Yeah, I suppose my choice of phrasing wasn't ideal.
Hey, it's all right. We know what it means now, so for the next one, I'll know.
Anyway, how is your daughter? She's poorly? Not another one's poorly, or the same one?
Oh, God. So they had gastroenteritis. Well, we all did, a couple of weeks ago. We all recovered from that. And then now she's had a migraine the other day. And then they find a little lump on her neck, which they think's the glands and stuff like this. So she's just constantly ill at the moment. So it's a bit shit, but she's got the iPad, so it's like a medicine to her.
Where would we be without iPads?
I really don't know. She sat on there watching Disney Life for hours on end. So she's happy, but yeah, let's keep on with the video
Chris,
games.
hang on. This is going to be brilliant. I almost no, I can't. I'm going to laugh. I'm sending prayers your way for your daughter.
Oh, you beauty!
I thought you were going to say you bellend then for some reason, which would have been fair.
I love a good segue. So yeah,
but that wasn't a good one. That's the thing.
It was because it was funny, and we need a good laugh.
Yeah,
Nick's lost it already. So
it was so bad. It was so bad. I love it.
It was so bad. I'm not good at them. Never been good at them.
It was just the build up. The build up to it was the best bit.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't quite get it out, so to speak.
So, Prey is the game we'll start with. Nick, you're reviewing this bad boy. You tweeted last night 21 hours, and you've still not finished it. So I want to know.
I'd like to say that it's 21 hours. It's not because I'm shit. I just want to say that. It's not because I've found it really difficult and I can't get through it.
It's massive, isn't it?
It's just a really long game. And there's so much to do in it. And actually, there's so much to kind of explore and look at that I've spent a lot of my time just doing that. Just exploring the space station, looking in literally every corner for information, be that an email or a note or an extract.
Is that because you want to be thorough for the review, or is it because it's engaged you in a way that you're like, I want more?
Me. I mean, cool. I did start off thinking, well, I should get through this because... well, as you know, I mean, we can talk about Bethesda's review policy, but I don't
sure we
think,
can, yeah.
I mean, let's not bore folk with that. But I didn't get code until Thursday, which was the day before release. And I did kind of think, oh gosh, well, I should really play this and get through it as quickly as reasonably possible, but still making sure that I, see what the game has to offer. And then gradually, as I was playing it over the weekend, I was just like, actually, no, sod that. I think a lot of what is good in the game is the stuff that isn't really connected to any of the story. For example, I've spent an awful lot of time just kind of dicking about with the various ways that you can get into locked rooms. So you can you can hunt about and find a passcode or a key card which will get you in a straightforward way, or you can use the various sort of power-ups that you get and unlock to kind of use more imaginative ways to get in. And I've just had a lot of fun just kind of hunting around for key cards, hunting around for little bits of information, messing about, turning into a mug to roll through a small gap, or using the glue gun to make a kind of like climbing wall, if you like, so that I can get to higher parts in the room and see whether I can drop in.
Am I doing that wrong, by the way? Because you can't put I'm trying to think how to describe this. It's difficult, especially if people haven't played it. So when you use the glue cannon, you spray like a bit of glue out, literally.
Yeah,
like
an
blob,
expanding foam, isn't it? It's like expanding foam, yeah.
Yeah, spot on. And but you don't, unless I'm being stupid, you can't put one glue blob on another glue blob, right?
Yeah, you can.
Because I thought that the way we'd do it would be the kind of the Minecraft way, like look at your feet and just shoot blocks out kind of thing to get yourself up. I can't seem to do that.
Oh, I actually haven't done that, though. I haven't tried that. Oh,
I wonder if you have. Is it that you're sticking things to kind of like making a staircase against the wall, like in that?
Yes.
Because right, okay. See, I think what that's happening there is that you're actually sticking stuff to the wall, not the actual glue. Because I can't. I was trying to get up somewhere where there was kind of no way of being against a wall, like it was more out in the open.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't stack two glue blocks, as you will.
Ooh.
I couldn't make like a Tetris shape or
Do you
something.
know, I'm going to actually try that, because it's never occurred to me to actually try that. But part of me's wondering that, I mean, we've had a discussion already, haven't we, Adam, about like one of the sort of, I suppose, negative things to say about Prey. I mean, I will say that I'm really enjoying the game. I'm having an awful lot of fun with it, but there are some negatives in it, and part of that is the sort of combat side of it. And in particular, I find the glue cannon to be a major part of this difficulty that I have with the combat. I don't know whether you have the same feeling, Adam, but I feel like it doesn't fire in the way that you expect it to, or in the direction that you expect it to, or the location where you expect it to, if that makes more sense.
I can't hit jack shit with that thing.
Yeah.
Like it's, I was saying to you off podcast, like it takes usually 5 attempts. I mean, to be fair, mimics are like spiders in that they move quickly, so they're not designed to be like standing there for you to aim at them, but they're buggers to hit. And I watched, I think people probably know I'm a big fan of Giant Bomb, and I watched their quick look of the game, and they switched sort of mid video between, like, I think it was the PS4 version and the PC version, and obviously this is post-release because there was no demo for the PC version, so these were final copies of the game. And the difference in just the aiming, you know what I mean, like was because it's been bugging the hell out of me that because you know how you go up to a screen, again, for people who haven't played it, because I don't think many people seem to be. There's not buzz around this game, which we can talk about, I'm sure, but there's like touch screens in the game, and it's not like you go up and press A and it brings up a screen. The screens are as they would be to you if you were in real life. Like you physically look at them and you press a button and you press another button on the screen. And I find that really fiddly. But that's the first time when I saw it. Like, if this was on PC, this would be so easy. It'd be just like you having a mouse on screen. And it feels like I wonder if the game, if I'd get on with the game. I am actually enjoying it too, I should say. It sounds like I'm not. I am. But I wonder if it would be better with the mouse and keyboard, or at least on a PC. And from watching their video, they did say, Bethesda said that they were going to sort out the dead zones before release, and I believe they have, but I don't think it's quite.
I'm not convinced.
Fixed, shall we say.
In particular, like I say, the glue cannon is a classic example of where I think the dead zone is not right. But I've completely forgotten what I was going to say, which is awful.
Well, I was going to ask you, like, so because you're, I mean, I'm not. You're, like you say, you're 21 hours in. I'm not. I don't think I'm even half that. It's difficult to say because the demo I played through, which was a good hour and a half, and because I'd played it before, when I played the final game, like I just thrashed through that. So I'm sort of 8.5 hours in, but probably 9.5 because of how I rushed the early bit.
Yeah.
And I've constantly felt at the point I'm at that I feel like the combat and the weaponry are from two different games. So like the enemies don't seem designed for the weaponry or attacking abilities I have, and I don't know if that's because I haven't unlocked enough of them.
See, as you know, when I first started playing it, I wasn't enjoying it at all. And I'd seen a lot of chatter on Twitter about it, where people going, I've played, a couple of hours of Prey and it's amazing. I really want to spend more time with it. I'm just really enjoying the different ways you can approach situations. And I was just sat there looking at that going, I think they're playing a different game to me, because I am not enjoying this at all. There's an open-ended nature to it when you first begin, isn't there? You have a sort of very scripted start and a very linear path, and then once you get into like the game proper, it opens up into like a kind of hub area, and there's lots of doors you can go through, lots of rooms you can go through, and you pretty much, other than, you know, an overarching directive to like maybe go here and do that or do this, you can go anywhere that you want, that you can actually get into at that point. And I was just really struggling. I had very little health, and all I had was a wrench. And it was a situation where I didn't want to go and explore anywhere because I was just dead constantly. Even like...
Of course, because... You didn't even find the pistol now.
No.
I remember now. You didn't find the pistol at first, did you? You literally had the wrench. That's a nightmare.
I had no gun. I had lots of ammo. I had shotgun ammo and pistol ammo. And I was thinking, well, I must pick one up at some point. But all I had was a wrench and then whatever food I could find that would obviously give me a small, like 10% increase in health, you know, or boost my health.
Yeah.
And it got to a stage where I didn't actually want to go anywhere, because I was going, well, I'm not going to go anywhere other than the main story route, because I just cannot afford to go into a room and get done in by, you know, one of these enemies, because it's just not fun for me at all. And I was thinking, I mistakenly thought that things like, oh, I'll pick up a shotgun because I've already got ammo, so I must pick up a shotgun soon.
Scripted. You thought they were
in
scripted.
terms of it being a scripted thing. So I was following this path, and I must have got 4.5 hours in, and I'd found the pistol. Because I think you told me that it was just in a room, and I went in that room and it was there, right, literally as soon as you went through the door. But I didn't go any further into that room because there was a big enemy in there, and I was just like, I cannot handle this enemy. So I got about 4.5 hours into the game, and I was just going, this game is ridiculously hard. I was playing it on normal, for example, you know, for starters, and I was thinking, this difficulty is weighted way wrong. You know, normal.
I've totally considered dropping it to easy several times.
Yeah.
Totally.
I was thinking, this feels like I'm playing it on, you know, sort of hardcore difficulty, you know, the one above the recommended. That's how I felt about it. I was going, this is way harder than I thought it would be. Bearing in mind, you know, I'm not, you know, a new person to shooting stuff.
No, I don't consider myself a slouch when it comes to first person, but like, I'm with you. Like, the difficulty feels all over the place, and I can never tell if is that their way of saying, you shouldn't really be here yet? But then I don't think it is, because there are so many ways of getting to places that initially you'd be like, well, okay, well, that door's locked, so I'll find a key later. But you also soon realise things like, oh, well, actually, I can smash the window with the wrench, and although I can't get in, I can now use my dart gun to shoot the auto, like the, you know, unlock security doors, and you can get in there. And it's like, well, there are actually ways of getting in here. So then there's not gating me. It's just saying, think about it. So why is it so hard here? I just don't have the abilities right now to defend myself.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that, I mean, I've had this sort of kind of discussion with you separately where I've just said, you know, I would never say that there is a wrong way to play a game. But I do feel like you're punished if you're not... Like, if you're someone who just goes, well, actually, do you know what? I want to progress the main story for a bit, and then I'll have a little, you know, dabble about and explore a bit once I've got used to the mechanics. The game punishes you for doing that because you don't actually find anything. You don't, like, for example, you won't find a gun on the main story. No. You won't find blueprints for things like med kits, which can then give you the confidence to go and explore.
See, I don't even remember where I found that.
That's in the same place you find the gun. But
it's quite busy, though, don't you think?
But
like,
you have
in terms of what's on the screen.
Exactly, but you have to get past a very hard enemy to even get to the blueprint. So, like I said, I didn't want to go in there because I had no health. I was literally at like less than 10% health, and my suit was at 0%. and I was just like, I've got a wrench and no health. I didn't want to go anywhere. So I was just blindly following this main story, you know, like creeping around in the shadows.
I suppose you haven't even found those little robot things. What are they called? I forget what they're called. They are called something that can heal your suit, your psi abilities, or your
units,
health.
Aren't they? They're just called either an engineer
operators.
unit or
Is it operators? Yeah,
like
operators. And they can heal. But that seems weird. But I don't. They're sort of random as well where they appear.
Yes. So, like I said, I wasn't enjoying it, but once I was told, somebody said to me, look, the blueprint's in this place and, you can get a gun in this place. Once that I was told that, I go, okay, well, I'm just going to have to suck it up and go into this room and see if I can find it. Once I found these things that, 4.5 hours in, that other people had found within the first hour, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand it, because I've got some confidence, I've got some health, I've got a weapon now in case things get too hairy and I can't, punch my way out of trouble. Once that happened, I then got the confidence to actually explore a bit more, and that's when it really opens up, when you start having, the time to kind of just stand and look around you and go, oh, hang on a minute, there's a ledge above me. What's up there? What if I can get my way up there? And then, I build myself a little glue ladder to get up there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, here's a maintenance shaft. Oh, okay, let's have a look what's in here. So that then opened the game up to me. And I've, I just, once you get some powers as well, there's two different routes you can go through. You can either go for like human-based powers, so things like hacking, being able to lift objects, increasing your suit inventory, that kind of stuff. But then there's also the kind of like space magic stuff, which are the Typhon powers. And the Typhon powers is where a lot of the fun is. That's where a lot of the physics of the game come in. And I've had a lot of fun messing about with those. But what I've got now is I'm like super powerful. Nothing holds any fear for me anymore. So I'm just kind of walking around like some kind of Rambo. There's an enemy that before I was cowering in a corner. I'll just mind blast him and shotgun him and he's dead.
Regarding that, actually, I was going to ask, I don't know if this is a bit... probably best if you just answer yes or no, if it's a bit spoilery. There was something I would consider at least a kind of mini-boss. Well, there's been two for me. One is at the top of the lift, that you basically kill that enemy. Yeah, you know the one I mean. I'm sorry if I'm being vague, listeners, and Chris, because he's not played it. It's not
actually a mini-boss, though. You come across them loads more.
Right. That's what I figured. But also there's the bit earlier than that where there's a guy in a sort of glass prison that you open something behind him and it infects him, and that felt like a kind of mini-boss that would become an enemy. But both of those encounters neither felt like special moments. They're just like, this is our way of introducing a new enemy, and you kind of kill it the same way, like glue it or throw one of the grenades at it and then just shoot the shit out of it. Is there so far anything more special, akin to a boss?
I will say yes, but now...
What I mean is there anything that you've come across that you have to... change tactics that don't... It's not like, well, somehow incapacitate and then blast it.
There's one thing I've come across which I had to survive for 2.5 minutes.
Oh, you mentioned
and
that,
I hid under a table, and it was probably one of the most tense bits of a video game I've had in a long time. But part of me is intrigued to know whether that encounter would still happen had I chosen a different upgrade path with my abilities. Because...
Okay, I got you.
Because if you choose not to use the Typhon powers, you remain, I guess, human, I guess? I don't think that's particularly spoilery. Like, for example, if you take more than 2 Typhon powers, you go to 3 different Typhon powers, the turrets are then turn hostile against you. Did you know
I wonder
that?
what the number was.
I don't know if that's spoilers.
I knew that they would do it. No, I knew that it doesn't know. It tells you. It tells you if you like. I think, is it Alex? Somebody tells you anyway. Like if you go too far down that path,
tells you that.
Might be, yeah. And they say like if you do that, beware. Mm-hmm. I have encountered that actually. Yeah, near the lift.
So I wonder if you choose not to go down the Typhon route, which I might try actually. I might play a game, but just stick with main story and not use Typhon powers.
Right.
I wonder if you get that same encounter, because that encounter is very much linked to the fact that you've gone too far into the Typhon route. Or that's certainly what January suggests to you. But again, there's
because you can't despec, can you? If you've got, you can't remove an ability. No,
you
okay.
Can't. And I find that kind of interesting. I find it interesting that you could potentially have a different experience if you choose to stick with just the human powers or to stick with just the Typhon powers. That I find interesting. And I also think some of the narrative, reveals may well also be linked to which path you choose. I don't know that for definite because I've not finished the game yet. But there's been a few things that's made me think, I wonder if, certain outcomes would be different if I'd have done, if I'd have chosen not to like be able to turn into a coffee mug.
What a ridiculous thing.
Now, initially, when I first got that power, I was like, excellent, I could turn into one of these things. And I got it, and I was like, this is shit. I can't actually do anything.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same. Yeah.
But it was only afterwards when I kind of went, hang on a minute. If I turn into a coffee mug, I can get through that gap.
Wouldn't you have led... Because I didn't know you could do that. Like, there was no... I mean, it's kind of a spoiler to say that you can kind of become a mimic of sorts. Like, you mimic... Like, the way that... Mimics, if you don't know, people listening, are a spider-like enemy that take the form of something else. So if you're walking in a room and you see 2 coffee cups... If you look at them long enough, one of them will shake and you'll know that's a mimic. And you also get an ability that you can scan that literally identifies them. But you can, if you scan them, you sort of learn about them, and you can mimic things.
Yes.
I'd have led with that in the marketing, and I didn't even know that existed until I found it in the game. I would have led with this in the marketing, like you can. It almost made jokey adverts about how you can turn into a coffee cup. It's really weird.
See,
this game's quite weird.
I mimicked a mimic, which was hilarious.
What, the actual spider thing?
And it was there, and I was just next to it.
Did it not attack you, I suppose?
No, it didn't. It didn't attack me. I was just sat there next to it looking and going, all right.
Can you attack as a mimic?
No. See, that's why I initially thought it was a bit rubbish. I was going, well, what's the point? I can just hide. Okay. So you can kind of use it as a stealth thing where you can sneak past maybe a bigger enemy. Or, like I said, I've been using it as a puzzle solver. Like I haven't got an ability to lift like super heavy objects. So I've been using it for like slipping down gaps. I'll turn into, I don't know, some bit of detritus I've found on the floor, and I'll just kind of hop my way through and slip through the gap. That's how I've been using it. But it took me a while to actually go, hang on a minute. I've got a really useful tool here. And that's what I like about it. It's kind of it gives you a toolbox, if you like, and you can kind of approach any situation in any way that you like.
See, I think you'd like Dishonored because that's kind of that game in a nutshell. I mean, there are powers, but it's funny you mentioned the abilities because that's another thing that made me think it would be better on a PC. Because I feel like it's got quick select, like up, down, left, right on the D-pad, but I have like the glue gun and I think the pistol is one of mine. Up's always the torch, isn't it? I don't feel like there's enough of them.
No.
I feel like you almost need like a Diablo-style thing where, like, if you hold left bumper, it gives you, the second...
Yeah, you do. You do. I mean, on PlayStation, you hold triangle and then you get like a radial wheel.
Yeah, but that radial wheel gets big.
Yes, it does, and it becomes a kind of spiral.
And
it does. When you're in like the heat of battle and you're trying to switch through, it is quite awkward. So I do kind of agree that...
Like, you could just tap 1, 2, 3, 4 probably on PC, do you know what I mean? Like an old-style shooter. But then even then, it probably wouldn't be enough. Yeah, that spiral gets enormous.
It does. It really does. So yeah, I mean, it's perfectly playable on console, and I'm not a PC gamer, so it wouldn't be a game that I would play on the PC. But I can see that, with the additional accuracy of a mouse, for example,
just the direct control of being able to kind of like, there's a mimic. I'm having you. Whereas on PlayStation 4, I feel like I'm sort of
spinning around wildly, flying glue
kinda,
out.
Yeah, kinda.
That's exactly me. After I finished the battle,
then they bloody mimic something. They mimic something, and you're like, well, where the bloody hell have they gone now? And, a really annoying enemy, actually.
After every encounter I've had with a mimic, it's just like glue. Just splattered everywhere.
Yep.
And then I go around with my wrench, like smashing it up again because it offends me. I've got so much.
See, I started doing that, and eventually I'm like, do you know what? No, this is the spoils of battle. People know I've been here. This is. It is, yeah. The room is just festooned with glue. Like, it looks quite wrong, actually.
Yeah. So, in short, I'm enjoying it an awful lot after really not enjoying it at the beginning.
What's the story like? Like, it sounds like there's a lot of depth to it. It's not just one plot. You're just following it through. You're meeting characters. I mean, yeah. Is it any good?
It's engaging enough. It's pushing me forward. I'll be honest. It feels very Bioshocky. You've got a disembodied voice kind of telling you where to go and what to do, and you kind of blindly trusting this voice. And I mean, like I say, I haven't finished the campaign yet, but I do feel like it's setting itself up for the same kind of like, oh my god, this, they're a baddie all along kind of thing. So,
it feels to me like I tweeted this before the game was out, and I'm going to stand by it. Like, it'll brave me for saying that everyone else is thinking. Feels like the kind of game that would have been absolutely perfect for Bethesda to give to journalists and media 10 days before, and really just say, spend a bit of time with this, enjoy it, get your review up for the release date, whatever. And I worry because there are reviews already, and like some people are completing it very quickly, and it's like, look, whatever. But this is one, we said, didn't we, Nick? Like, just take your time.
Yeah.
It feels like a game that asks you. I mean, it is a long game. First-person games that long are kind of rare, but Bethesda do this. Like, Doom was a long game. Dishonored, both of them are long games. Like, this is, if you're 21 hours in, do you feel like you're approaching it? Because the thing is, the story's mostly, like you say, disembodied voices. There aren't, so what I've seen, lots of, like, not cutscenes, because it doesn't have cutscenes that I've seen, but there aren't big beats, are there? Like, do you feel like you're approaching the end?
I kind of do now, yes. I think that I'm near the end, but there's an awful lot that I still want to do. A lot of the narrative is given to you through the like audio excerpts that you find and the emails that you find. It kind of fleshes out a little bit about where you are and what's been going on. In terms of actually reaching the end point, in terms of the main story and what the overarching thing is, I do actually feel like I'm getting towards the end of that now. I did one bit last night, and I had another disembodied voice kind of in my ear saying, okay, right now, come to this place, we'll have a chat. So I kind of feel like I'm getting there, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least another couple of hours, maybe 3 more hours left of things to do, which will put me close to 25 hours.
Get your money's worth, I suppose, if you did buy it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not even remotely bored with it. I've enjoyed exploring it. and doing the
That's my favourite part of it, actually.
yeah,
exploring.
and just even doing the various little side missions that crop up. Like find this person in this location, and all these sorts of different things that you can do. I mean, there's one that I'm doing which is some like tabletop gaming thing that they all did, like some role-playing game that they've all done, and they've hidden treasures around the space station. So I'm kind of following that, just because I quite like wandering around the space station and lifting stuff up to see what's under it. which is a bit daft, but like I say, it's actually I found that quite enjoyable. What do you think visually, though, Adam? I think it's a bit dull looking.
I don't think it's amazing. That's for
It's
sure.
just a bit boring looking. Is that fair? I mean, I know it's a spaceship, so it's going to be a bit.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. I mean, the enemy design as well. Like, they're kind of all the same kind of just, I don't know, gnarled sort of gnashing of sort of black strands, aren't they? They're that's the choice, I would imagine. There's probably I don't mind it. I mean, I don't know. It's difficult because I haven't seen everything. It's quite pretty when you go outside or you're in zero grav. It's quite. I've seen better looking games. Let's put it that way. Definitely. But it's not. I wouldn't say it was ugly or anything.
No, it's not ugly. I just feel like it's a bit, art direction wise, it's a bit basic.
It's a bit safe, maybe at times. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, good game. Recommend.
Good. Well,
We'll be writing reviews soon.
From one space station to another, I've been exploring the Icarus, which is from a game that's come out on PC, PS4, and Xbox. It's called Strafe.
Oh, yeah!
And it is from a developer called Pixel Titans, and it's published by the wonderful Devolver Digital.
So it's mad as a bag of frogs then, like, a box of frogs, isn't it the saying? I got there in the end.
That's all right.
Because it's Devolver, so it must be mad as a box of frogs.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's basically like the marketing's been very smart for it, and it's kind of if you've been on the website, it's incredible. It's designed like because they're saying it's like the best platformer from 1996. So you go onto this website for Strafe, and it's designed like a really old.
It's like a GeoCities website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really good, so it's worth just checking out for that. But the game itself, it's kind of very much in the same vein as Quake and Doom from the 90s. So the visual style is exactly the same as those kind of games. The kind of speed of it is very similar. It's relentless. The enemies are relentless. But it is that kind of game. Like it's really smart what they've done, and they have made it like that. But I don't know. I think it's great.
Is it hard?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have struggled with it, and maybe others might not. But
why is it hard? Because of the speed, or because
the speed? It's just you forget to kind of. You forget what these kind of games were like. First-person shooters now. They can be fast-paced.
I mean, Titanfall 2 is a fast game. How does it compare?
I feel it's like going at 100 miles per hour. Compared
Christ.
to Titanfall and Doom. Even Doom, which was
Doom's blistering.
a reimagining. I could cope. But
oh really? It's that intense.
I don't think it's very intense. When there's all the kind of the hidden rooms and the lifts and stuff from, like, if you remember when Doom used to have all these like little secrets, and you'd unlock this room and they'd be right behind the door waiting, and they'd just come for you. So it's very frantic. It's not like blistering. It's not the most intense game I've ever played, but for a first-person shooter, going back to these kind of games, this kind of style, when we're used to, taking out a few enemies, getting battered a bit, but going behind like a wall or a rock and restoring your health, it reminds you just how tough these kind of games were when you were growing up. But it's nice enough. It's procedurally generated to a point,
okay.
So you kind of you go into the game and you choose between 3 different guns. There's a shotgun, assault rifle, and a railgun, and you can pick pick one of these, and then throughout the game you get to upgrade that, better ammo capacity, stuff like that, and then you go into the levels and you start the same, like the big Icarus logo, but then you could probably go to a room with a bridge over like a load of acid, or a level where there's like prisons and prison cells and stuff like that. And then if you manage to get through a level, it changes slightly, and there's like caves and stuff in another part of this world, and it's nicely designed, but it's pretty frantic. There are a few issues that I found where, as I was talking about, like rooms with acid in, you can there's one part where there's this bridge over like this like bath of acid, and the enemies were coming at me from the other end, but they were like walking onto the bridge and just walking off and falling in. So when there was like this horde of them following me, only about 4 of them made it because they were all falling in this acid. So, which was a bit annoying, because I was like, there was no challenge to it, and it kind of happens a bit. The AI is pretty terrible in parts, but saying that, it's still bastard hard, Nick.
Is it? See, that's all you need to write sometimes. Just it's bastard hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
I wonder how it will play on PlayStation, because I know we originally were going to look at it on PlayStation, but the codes weren't available. But games like this feel like designed for Twitch controls, which again, mouse and keyboard. But saying that, Doom worked absolutely brilliantly on Xbox. I played on Xbox One. So
I did.
I started to play it with an Xbox controller on the PC.
Okay.
I couldn't do it. So I had to go straight to mouse and keyboard. Yeah, it's just so fast, and there's no real sign that they're coming from you from a different angle, so they could appear at you from behind, and because there's no the sound design isn't terrible, but it does feel very retro. So when these kind of aliens are coming at you from behind, that you won't really hear anything. You just see your health kind of blink red.
You're just getting smashed from somewhere. There's I think there's a VR game that's similar to that. Like the feedback isn't great. That you're getting hit. Oh, they're behind me. Okay, I didn't know that. Because although I'm in VR, I can't actually feel being hit.
Yeah, and there are kind of like a lot of those kind of enemies where you have no idea where they are, because they can fall from the ceiling. They come from everywhere, and it's fine. They're very much trying to embody that mid-90s kind of first-person shooter, and that's fine. And if you've missed that kind of game, then brilliant. But I don't think it's going to attract many people.
There's a link here, Chris. There's a link.
Do it.
Well, speaking of mid-90s games.
Oh, I see it.
Which, go on, you take it. Take the ball.
No, you've gone there, mate. You've started.
Speaking of,
take the ball.
Yeah, but you see, I've started worrying now. My memory's shit. You see.
You've just said take the ball, mate. So I'm assuming.
Oh shit! Damn it!
Fuck it.
Shit! That was a better. See, I'm bad at this. That was your. Do you know what? That was completely accidental. But that is a better. See, Chris. That is take the ball because you're playing NBA Playground.
Smooth, Adam.
Yeah.
But you see, I was going for the. I was going for the in the mid-90s, and then I suddenly thought, hang on, was NBA Jam in the mid-90s? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
And you then offered it, and I didn't take it. What's it like, Chris? Was NBA Jam mid-90s? I reckon it was.
I think it was.
It was on the Sega Mega Drive, wasn't it? So,
that's where I played it. Yeah, Mega Drive. I think SNES as well.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but do you know what? After a turbulent first few games. Because I couldn't work out how dunking works, and I was like, "This is fucking shit." It
sounds
really,
like my
really
experience
isn't.
with Prey. It's fucking shit. This game.
Yeah,
but it's fucking cool.
Is it?
Like from loving, it is very much NBA Jam.
it is, isn't it? There's no way around it.
Much so. No, the power ups are there, the slam dunks are there. The ridiculous. Jumping up, spinning around 10 times and dunking. It's super. It's just ace, and it's the perfect time to come out because the playoffs are on at the moment.
It's fully licensed, which surprised me.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it. They've got up to date team rosters as well. I think there's about 5 current players, and then you've got all your legends as well.
Oh, really? Who are we talking? Are we talking like Chicago Bulls? Are we talking Jordan or something? Or
I haven't seen Jordan, but the thing is, you can like.
I suppose the way you unlock players means you might not see them.
And this is why I love it, because you can unlock the players. They come in like it's like Ultimate Team.
It is Ultimate Team. You scratch cards essentially.
You start off the game with opening 3 packs of cards.
Yep.
And it's completely random who you have. You can have some of the best players in the league, some of the worst. But when you level up, it's again like a bit like Overwatch with loot boxes. You'll get a new pack of cards, and you open them, and they'll bring up a whole manner of players. And I think from looking at the card collection, you can look at your own cards that you've got. You can like look at. So say if I went to the Chicago Bulls, there'd be like 5 kind of silhouetted players, and then any players you unlocked. So you can't actually see who they are.
No,
but
because they're kind of caricatures, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, they are. The whole big heads, little bodies, kind of thing. But there are I've one of the first packs I got. There's a guy who used to play for the San Antonio Spurs called David Robinson. He's like one of the best centers in basketball history, and he's under the epic kind of card category.
Okay.
So I've used him every game because his blocks is like at 10, so he jumps excessively high, and he's always kind of blocking the shots. So when you kind of get players, you can only ever choose 2 of them, so you are overwhelmed with choice at some point. But I see when you get the players you're going to want to play with, you'll rarely change. But there's the exhibition mode, which is pretty cool.
So you're playing on PC, aren't you?
Yeah,
because I'm playing on Switch, and I started the game and I hit and so it's really strange because this game apparently has, like you say, exhibition mode, tournament mode, and online. Now they did say that online mode is being patched into Switch later. They did say pre-release, but they weren't specific. It hasn't been yet. Tournament mode just doesn't do anything. Like, what's the score on PC?
It's basically you start off in the New York Park and you play through 4 matches against 2 players that you probably haven't unlocked yet. Because I've come across players that I haven't got yet, and you'll beat one team, progress to the next round, beat that team, progress to the next round, beat that team, progress to the final, and you win the final. And the only real kind of reward is the constant XP to get your new card packs, or a new basketball court.
What about
Tokyo or no? It's all right. So you open up Tokyo, London, that kind of thing.
Okay. What about the online then? I know you've tried, and I know you've not been able to find anyone playing it. But have you been able to see options wise? Like, can you do 2v2, or is it just like me against you, and you control both? Do you know what I mean? Like, would there be an option for you and me to play each of on the same team?
I haven't noticed that yet.
Okay.
I'd hope so.
I would guess there won't be, but it'd be nice if there was.
That was what made NBA Jam cool, is that you could team up with your mate. But I think the online, it's just finding a match.
It's not even. Let's say it's not even an option on Switch at the moment.
So I'm not playing this for loads of modes. Like, I'm quite happy to just put it on, because the one thing that I have missed, and you forget that you miss this kind of thing, is when you're playing the only real basketball game that's successful is 2K.
Yeah.
And whilst it is it's like a basketball fan's dream. It's got everything. It's got your GM mode.
See, I can't play it
tournaments.
because I foul all the time, because I try and tackle the way I would in NBA Jam, which is to stand in front of them and mash the X button or the square button.
It's very kind of realistic in that sense. It's really hard, and I'm not going to say that I'm really good at it, because I'm not. But you have to spend a lot of time. Oh yeah. But you have to spend a lot of time kind of getting used to it. Whereas this, it's just so much fun. It's so easy to kind of to play, and if you've got someone who's really good at 3-pointers,
I used to love that,
always kind of hit them. Always, and it's just great. And there's like a power up that allows you to score from anywhere on the court. So it just looks awesome.
One question I have for you though is, again, you're on PC, I'm on Switch. I've kind of been waiting, not in anticipation, but I've been waiting in expectation that at some point a Switch port of a game, or a Switch version, I should say, of a game, will be a letdown. And it hasn't happened yet. Like, I've been playing Tumbleseed, and that's absolutely brilliant. It's actually probably better on Switch because of the HD rumble. And again, it's the HD rumble ain't enough violent in that game, and it is in this as well. But my first match, I pressed play, and the load times, and my fucking word, I was shocked by... I was expecting it to load up like a realistic basketball game, given how long it loaded for. And then I was a bit worried, like, oh, is this the first Switch game that's not optimised? But you said to me that it's like that on PC too.
Yeah, I was... It's still, even now, it takes a couple of minutes to load, and it's frustrating.
That's too long for a little exhibition match.
Exactly, yeah. You know, it's not... I just don't understand what there is to load. It's
what is it loading?
You know, even like in a FIFA match or something, it doesn't take that long. It gets stuck on about 5%, then it's at 6%, and then 10 seconds later it's 7%, and then all of a sudden it kind of jumps up to 50, and then 80, and then it's kind of done. But it takes a weird amount of time. So that is kind of one of the frustrations about it. You know, you just want to go in, play it, you know, kill a few hours or so in a few games of basketball, but the load times are a pain in the arse. So it's still
strange.
It's not the Switch. It's
okay.
I think it's across the board. I mean, obviously we've not seen the other consoles, but you'd think if
it's like that on PC and Switch, then that's an optimization issue, not of the console of the game. Yeah,
exactly.
It's still a good game.
It's cool, and if you are a fan of NBA Jam and you miss it, then it's not ripping it off in any way. It's just but it feels very similar.
I mean, they could have gone further. They could have had he's on fire. You know what I mean? They could have.
And the commentary is quite. It's quite good. They'll take the piss out of you if you shit. They'll be like, "Oh, is his controller stuck or something? Because he's or is he spilt soda in his controller?"
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Was a terrible shot. You know, it's quite cool. But it's dead simplified, arcadey basketball. And if you want to play that, you miss that kind of style, then you should definitely play it. So
speaking of old-fashioned simplistic games and load times that are actually really, really quick, and would you hang on a minute, I've got it, Chris, would you say that the commentator was rude?
Oh, he's super rude.
Would you say he was super rude?
Bear rude.
But is he bear rude? We need Dan, really, because no disrespect, but all three of us are way too old to be described as things as bear.
Super rude bear resurrection. Oh my god, what a game! Have you played much of it, Adam, at all?
I played a bit of it, and then one.
What is it? I don't know anything about this game.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I don't want to be rude about it. Oh, there we go. Rude. Yeah. I don't want to be rude about it, but to me, it's basically like Super Meat Boy, but with a twist. And the twist is that once you die, your corpse stays there. So if you fall on spikes, your corpse stays there. You respawn, and now you can step where you died because your corpse is there. But there's also this weird wizard bird thing that fucking will not shut up, quite frankly. And you can use it to scout ahead, and also if because there are points where you get too many corpses, like they trap you that you can't get past them. Right. You can laser them with this wizard bird, but it's I started playing it and I was like, this seems cool, and I was immediately put off because there's a constant screen wobble going on, like intentional. The screen wobbles like crazy, and I actually went to Twitter and said, anyone else having this issue? And the developer said you can turn it off in the menu, and once I turned all that off, I enjoyed it a whole lot more because I get the idea, super rude bear, we're rad, but to me it's like no, I just want to play it. I don't want the screen wobbling as I'm moving.
What's the point
wizard
of the
thing.
Wobble?
I think it's just the attitude,
right?
But that wizard bird thing is constantly talking to you, but it's intentionally trying to distract you, making the game harder. Right. Because he speaks and text appears and you can't help reading it. It's there to be read. And it's quite funny, some of it. It's just quite good. But it's I'm already... This is a hardcore platformer. The idea is that, like Super Meat Boy, get through the level the quickest, get the best leaderboard score. By the way, Chris, step your game up, mate, because have a look at them. Anyway, that's not important. But you can... The thing is also, if you're not good at them, you can still enjoy it because you can die loads. Of course, you're lower on the leaderboard. Chris, there's that thing again. But if if you die loads, you can still get through the level because it's like literally like, well, I can't quite make that jump. I'm finding it hard, so I'll just jump shorter onto the spikes, and I've made myself a platform.
Right.
So it's quite inclusive, and I like that.
To go with it as well, by the sounds of it. You can use your death strategically.
Well, Chris has played further. Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's like as you go further, the different levels have got themes to them. And there's this one level where it's like a jungle, like an Aztec kind of place.
Is it a bit Spelunky-ish? It sounds a bit Spelunky-ish.
I've never played Spelunky.
It's more Meat Boy than Spelunky. It's really Meat Boy-ish, but as I say, with that mechanical.
It's a good job you didn't give this to me.
But the thing is that's the thing. If you are shit at Meat Boy, that's fine, because if you die on a spike, you've now made a platform. Because like the load times are instant, but as soon as you die, you spawn from the last checkpoint, and now where you died is a platform. So it's like you won't make that mistake again because you can't. So it's quite friendly, really.
Okay.
Yeah, and these kind of like this Aztec world, there's like these things that shoot arrows at you, and there's this one part where there's arrows going flying at you from all over the shop. You don't know whether you're Arthur or Martha. They're like coming at you from behind, from below. But when you die, if an arrow kills you, then your body becomes a barricade. So you can then stand behind your body, the dead one, push it towards a spike.
Gotcha.
So that you can then block that spike off and get past it. So it's like it's really smart, and the bosses are really cool as well. Because you can there's some bosses where you have to kind of fight them, but you use the environment to kind of stop them. And there's other bosses where you don't even need to kill them, you just need to get past them. But you kind of have to use the environment to do that. So it's a really well made game, and it's really quite smart. And if you can identify with a little bear from East London who listens to grime, then there you go.
As you do.
It's very relatable, yeah. But no, it's just good fun. And if you are a fan of that genre, I highly recommend it.
I quite like that when you get to the second world and it's Ice World, the wizard bird thing says, like, oh, look, it's the Ice World. Because of course it is. That's how platformers work. But I think he says something, like, again, because you're trying to concentrate on the game, he says something like, well, there's no actual ice mechanics because we know that's really annoying. Do you know what I mean?
So it's quite...
So he says something like that. It's like, because it's true, it is. It's like, oh, there's the desert world, there's the ice world, and oh, look, on the ice world, when you run along, you slip, and it's like, it's really annoying. That is, like, no one likes that in a platform game, so they just don't do it.
Did you notice the bit where he jumps down a pipe?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he said the wizard's in another castle or something.
It's like because it looks like Mario jumping down a pipe, and it says something along the lines of like copyright not infringed or something like that. It's like making a joke about it. So it's just I love it. I think it's just a good little fun game. And if you're a fan of Meat Boy,
I would say that some of the humour, I think, it straddles a line. Some of it I like, some of it's like. I think some people will love it. For me, it was like it's hit and miss, but I did like the game part of it a lot.
I think it's funny. Once you've seen it a few times, but if you keep dying and then it keeps repeating it, then you're just pissed off because you're just fucking sick of dying.
Yeah.
So but it's all right. It's not too bad. Speaking of giant heads that are puzzles that we haven't really spoken about, but I can't think of a fucking segue
That's
because
good.
It seems bonkers. GNOG
or GNOG
or
Gong backwards.
GNOG. Yeah. What's it like? Because it looks fucking mental.
I like the look of it.
I don't really know.
I love your review because it's like I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I genuinely don't know. And then I've looked at people's reviews afterwards, and I'm thinking, okay,
you got more from that than I did, kind of thing.
I say in the review that I feel like I didn't get the full experience. I think that if you played it in VR, you'd get more out of it. Because, like, visually, it's really odd. It's a really oddball game. And as I said as well in my review, it's like those toys that you give to babies or toddlers. That you press that button there and it makes a squeak, or you can put your finger there and move it round like a dial, or pull that lever, or it's a bit like one of those toys, and that's how you solve the puzzle, by pressing buttons and moving levers and just kind of dabbling about, to be honest. And whilst it's perfectly serviceable doing that on a controller, I do think the idea of actually playing it in VR and you know, having that more tactile approach to it may have improved it for me. I really loved the visuals. I thought it, you know, like the sort of surreal aspect of it, I really liked. I really liked this idea of it was just pure, like, play, if you like. I mean, it's a genuine game that is just all about play as a concept rather than just playing a game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I've seen it compared to Hohokum, not in terms of gameplay, but in terms of
visuals.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
in just how it's like a game, but not a game, but is a game.
Like I say, there's elements to it that I thought were really quite positive. But I think just as an experience where I was sat on my couch with a controller, I don't think I quite got it. It's a perfectly pleasing puzzler. Oh, look at that alliteration. That was lovely, that. But yeah, I felt like I only had half the experience. And unfortunately, I don't have VR, so I couldn't, you know, compare and contrast to see what it was like actually, you know, with all those crazy, like, psychedelic almost at times visuals in my face. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, pretty much if you read my review, it's basically me going, I don't know.
Just a sequence of sort of noises.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. Yes. Yeah,
fair enough.
That's it. That's all I can say.
No, that's fair.
Well,
I kind of still want to play it.
I'd certainly say
but I
don't play it, but I can't.
No, but also, like, I've got enough to play. Like,
it won't take very long. It doesn't take very long at all.
No, but, like, everything takes longer than I've got right now. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
fair enough.
And I want to play it because of how it looks.
I'd be interested to know how it plays in VR.
See, I can't be bothered with playing it
Right.
in VR. That's the thing. I just want to sit on my arse, and if it's that kind of toy box, then I don't. I mean, Double Fine published it, and like they've done some good stuff with VR, like the Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin is one. Actually, I mean, I've heard a lot of people being negative on it. It's actually one of my favourite VR experiences. I really enjoyed it, so it's definitely something that they, as a, well, I suppose, publisher and developer in that case, have experience with. You know, I don't know at what point GNOG or NOG, or I say Gong backwards, had VR implemented, or if it's intended as a VR game.
I think it's intended as a VR game. Just the way that, like each puzzle,
kind of single.
Yeah, each puzzle is a monster's head, and that kind of head fills up the majority of the screen and kind of bobbles about. And I just feel like, you know, if you were seeing that right up in your face with VR, you'd get more of a kind of experience, and all of your peripheral would be taken up with.
You could sort of lean in and look in and stuff. Yeah, maybe.
And then, like, the actual means of solving the puzzle is quite a tactile process, you know. And I can imagine, you know, like you're reaching up to pull a lever or turn a switch, actually physically doing that motion, you know, with the VR would make the experience a bit more easy to understand. But when you're just twiddling some thumbsticks, I don't think it translates quite as well. And like my score kind of reflected that, really. But then I've looked at the average score, and it's like, really? There was a lot of quite high scores for it, and I was just like, I don't get it. Sorry, I apologise and all, but I don't get it.
Well, alas. Our podcast has come to a close, which is sad. But if you're a Patreon, hang on, because we've got a little bit extra at the end. So just for Patreon exclusives, there'll be a little 20-minute, 30-minute chat about something where I'll bring a little topic.
Can you tease what is it? Because we don't know yet, Nicola. The whole podcast has just been anticipation. Oh no, okay, fair enough.
No, I can.
Okay,
I can give it. It involves music.
Ooh. Okay.
I am not playing music, or there won't be any music to listen to. But it involves a little bit of music chat.
That's fine with me.
And yeah, I know, and video games. But hang around to listen to that. But if you want to listen to that and you want to back us on Patreon, because it really does help, head over to patreon.com/GodisaGeek, and you'll be able to get exclusive giveaways, which are really cool. So we've given away Watch Dogs 2. There's a giveaway for Super Rude Bear Resurrection,
Dragon Quest Heroes 2.
Yeah,
which I played. I forgot that. A bit late now. Never mind. I haven't really got any thoughts on it anyway. Sorry, Chris. Carry on.
It's all right, mate. And you get the podcast early and stuff like that. But head over and have a read and see what we do there. You can obviously follow us all on Twitter. I'm at FirstAvenger83. Adam is at JebusF, and Nick is at Wavy_Gravy with an E. Thank you guys for joining me.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.